Peace and welcome to the culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. First, folks, let's talk about the WGA strike, the writer's strike that continues to happen, and how some Black writers are affected and what they think will be the future of Black writers in the room. We'll have that conversation. Also, one of the top big culture conversations we want to have today, funding racism, as the legal defense fund for Daniel Penny reaches over $2 million. What does that say? And will it add to intent? I'm going to share with you some of the latest details around that. Also, another big culture convo is about Ja Morant, NBA superstar Ja Morant, as we check in with our guy, Scotty from Off Script TV, to talk to us about the latest with that. And I got some other stuff for you. So stay with us. It's all happening on today's edition of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Let's go. Woo! All right, folks, welcome to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. First and foremost, thank you for tuning in. And, of course, big shout out to my culture crew that are galvanizing in the YouTube chat right now. And if you haven't heard, we do have a group of folks that have been a part of this conversation and a part of the many discussions called the Culture Crew. We want you to join us right now. Be sure to jump into the chat as we're streaming live right now on YouTube. We're also streaming live on blackstarnetwork.com and, of course, on Amazon News. And we look forward to connecting with as many of you as possible. And remember, folks, this is the only show where you are actually a part of the conversation. Yeah, so we look forward to hearing what you have to say about these big conversations that we have lined up for you. All right, first and foremost, let's talk about the WGA writer's strike. This is the Writers Guild of America. They're continuing to strike, and they stand on the principle that they need to be paid more. They need to get a bigger piece of the entertainment pie, and writers are not backing down, especially Black writers. I want to bring you up to speed on what I have read and what my conversation was around about Black writers being in the room. And when we talk about the room, we're talking about the writer's room. We're talking about that space where writers are creating the content. And there is a whole lot of discussion about the impact of this latest stand between the WGA and the Alliance of the Motion Pictures and its impact on diversity, its impact on Black content coming out of Hollywood, and so much more as it relates to race issues, equity, and social justice. But first, I want to share with you a discussion I had when I had a chance to go out on the front lines and talking to some of the writers about what she has experienced being up and an emerging writer, and what she looks forward to and hopes that this strike will do. And Keenan, just let me know once we're queued up on this, if we can just jump right into that. But first, let me just share this with y'all, folks, that this writer strike is definitely something that we need to support. Why? Because we need to tell our stories. And if our stories aren't being told in the best way, if those who are telling the stories aren't getting paid to create the content, if those who are looking to tell the stories aren't being supported, then what's going to happen? All right, let me just share with you. I had a chance to go out talking to some of the writers here in Los Angeles, and they were protesting in front of Netflix headquarters on Sunset Boulevard and Sunset Bronson Studios, another big studio in the industry. And I wanted you to check out what this one sister had to say as she got herself involved in the WGA writer strike. Take a look. I got to get a word with y'all. Right now, y'all are pre-WGA. What does that mean?
So that means everything that is being fought for right now is for our people. So we are not in the union yet.
Right.
But we hope to join the union when we get that opportunity. And when we do, we hope that means everything will be better.
Yeah.
And all the terms that we are looking forward to have our basic needs met and be able to live in a world that's going to be easy over.
Right. So talk to us about, like, you know, with Black writers, a lot of people, the conversation is a little quiet. The conversation is a little quiet in terms of the impact that this will have on Black content, Black writers. Can you give us some insight about that?
So I would love to. I could probably forward you some like numbers and some stats, but like I think the lowest rank of writers, staff writers, are men. Don't hold any of the high titles of the writers, so executive producers, etc. So I was hearing a young lady speak about that who is in the WGA, so I'd love to forward that to you.
No, that's definitely good.
Her explanation of it, but there's also a chart statistics for it as well, and it's just sad because that's the world we're walking into. It is scary, but we have the will to change it. So I'm not afraid. I know that there's still room to go. We have a strong case to be had.
So, and I don't know if a lot of people really know that the number of Black people at the table in the rooms is so small.
It is. You know, that's something that I hope we change sooner rather than later, but I think it's a lot of marginalized communities that don't hold a good half of the room, if not, you know, we only have one space.
Right.
There's just a lot of progress to be made. Not only just for songwriters, but allow them to run and create their own show.
That's what. That is awesome. What's your name, sis? This is Brianna C. And what kind of writing? What's your genre?
I love comedy, YA comedy, in all, you know, aspects of the word. So I'm hoping to reach the young audience and keep them entertained and put the medicine in the kids.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, y'all in good spirits. We got some faces of color. A lot of people are wondering, like, yo, what's this going to do for Black writers? But you gave us a great, assessment of the situation. So thank you so much, sis. Hopefully this can get resolved for our best interest. Hopefully it can get resolved.
We'll definitely be fighting for more spaces to be open, but it starts with the people coming into the spaces and vouching for each other, helping each other get through and opening those doors for one another, and then having our allies fight for us too. So
yeah.
It's not just us as Black people. We also have to have other ethnicities, races, etc., walks of life to fight for us as well.
And talk to us very quickly. I was just thinking of this in terms of, for the actors, how important is it for actors to be a part of this strike and this protest?
So important. This is a community. If you know what it's like to be on set, it's not just the actors that make it. It's not just the directors that make it. It's not just the writers that make this happen. It is the whole entire team. So without script, we don't have movies, and without the movies, we don't have actors. Without the television shows that are created by writers, we don't have the room for actors to be able to show off their talent. So we're all working together. This is a family. This is a team. This is a community. So anyone that's a part of the production phase, anyone that's part of the creation, then we need to all be out here together.
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, sis. Awesome, folks. Thank you. Look, that's just to let you know how serious this whole situation is. Again, folks, this is the WGA Writers Guild of America strike. This is the strike that they didn't want to do, but they felt like they had to do in order to get their proper compensation, fair compensation, and more importantly, in order to be heard. Yep. That was my sister Brianna, as you heard there. It was I went out there maybe about a week and a half ago. And when I had a chance to talk to her and some of the other writers, I talked to an actress as well, talking about the importance of this, how big this situation really is. It just opened up the door, and it got me thinking. And one of the things that I want to share with you before we take our first pause, folks, is something, as Sister Brianna was talking about, and I know that there was a lot of honking and everything, but this is the type of energy that we've been seeing here in Los Angeles around this writer's strike, that if once they descend upon a corner in front of the building, they showed up. Now, this is a bi-coastal protest. So you have writers in LA, you have writers in New York. But once they stand in front of these major studios, whether it's Paramount, whether it's Netflix, whether it's Sony, whether it's Fox, they draw a lot of attention, and more actors and actresses have decided to come on to show their support. Now, one of the stories that may have been kind of put on the underground on the radar has been the fact that HBO has released or has terminated the contract of David Simon, the one who created The Wire, Homicide, and some of the other major HBO shows, because of his stand with the writers. So there are some stories out there about, about studios who are doing their part to disrupt this whole situation. And so, folks, I don't want us to lose sight of the importance of Black writers in the room. But I do want to just throw this quick quote up here. This is from another writer. This is from a sister named Erica Green Swaffer. She's 50 years old. She's a writer. She's an award-winning writer. And she said this, and Keenan, we're going to just throw this quote up here. She said, "This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. This is not for the faint of heart. Power does not concede easily, and so it's going to take effort over and over and over again." She's a writer who's worked on hit shows like How to Get Away with Murder. She says that she will keep striking to protect the rights of the writers coming after her. She said, "I'm out here because I was born Black, and as a Black person, that's the first union you sign up for, collective struggle. I am now able to join a union because of my forefathers. We're paying it forward. We're making sure that the people who come after us are able to make a living." And that's what these writers are talking about, folks. That's exactly what these writers are talking about. And with Black writers, Black creatives, that's what the burden, that's the greater mission. The greater mission is, one, that you don't make sure that someone just shuts down your voice and your content. Two, that you recognize that you are a part of a union or collective struggle as a Black person. And three, that you pay it forward because someone led the way, somebody blazed the trail for you to even be in the room. So you have to think about the folks coming behind you. You have to think about the next generation. So what Erica said is right on point, and I think it's a great wrap up to why it's important for us as consumers of media, as people who love to watch these shows, so people who love to make sure that our actors and actresses are not just praised, but they are supported. We need to support Black writers. We need to support Black content creators. We need to support this strike to make sure that our stories are told without any type of disruption or without any type of issues that the studios may present. This needs to happen. So big shout out to all of the writers who are striking here on The Culture. We stand in support of you, making sure that you get what's due to you. Because as these studios are making millions upon billions of dollars, writers are trying to figure out how to make ends meet. And that just isn't right. Just isn't right at all. All right, folks, we got to take a quick pause. When we come forward, let's continue the conversation. Let's talk about funding racism. This is one of our big culture convos. Has Daniel Perry, the man who has been charged with killing Jordan Neely, his legal defense fund, $2 million and still counting. Let's talk about that. Stay with me. It's The Culture here on the Black Star Network.
Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black
own media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture. Weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen shootings.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Thank you so much for being a part of the discussion. All right, let's talk about this. This is our first of two big culture convos that we want to have today, which is around this idea of funding racism. Is that what we're looking at? The situation here. Let me just break it down for you, folks. Daniel Penny, this is the 24-year-old white Marine vet who killed Jordan Neely while he was on the subway station last week on the beginning of May 1st, or the beginning of Mental Health Month. A black man dies, a black man who suffered from mental health. I want us to keep that in mind. So Mr. Penny decided to, quote unquote, give himself up, or whatever the case may be. He was charged with manslaughter because of intent. He had originally said when he was on the scene talking to police, he did not intend to kill Mr. Neely, but that happened. Even though if you put someone in a chokehold for a good period of time, they are going to lose air. And as the autopsy has revealed, it was because of the compression of the neck that had killed Brother Jordan Neely. And so we're at this place, and he's been charged, speaking of Daniel Penny, but there has been a campaign to raise money for his legal defense fund. And let me tell you why, folks, because this is the sickness of white supremacy, the poison of white supremacy, and this is the sickness of where we are in this country, that a man who can kill another man in broad daylight on a public transit can be seen, and the narrative can be changed to where he's, quote unquote, a hero, or where he's considered to be a good Samaritan. I can't make this stuff up, man. Can't make this stuff up. All right, let me just share with you, though, why it's important for us to understand the complexities of this case, because the situation that we're seeing with Mr. Penny is that he's in a position where he's gained the support of individuals like Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida. He's gaining the support of the conservatives of the GOP party, the Republican Party, and they are backing him. They are supporting him with this legal defense fund, raising money. So he's already raised $2 million for his defense fund, folks. This is the crazy part. He's already raised $2 million. And it's through it's set up through a self-described Christian crowdfunding site called Give, Send, Go that was also used to raise funds for those arrested in the January 6th attack on the Capitol, folks. He has become, now take a look at this. This is coming out of the New York Times here. I'm looking at the second paragraph. It says, Mr. Penny has become symbolic of a macho and tough take action, hold your ground ethos that appeals to a conservative segment of the country, said Douglas Muzio, a political science professor at Baruch College. He said the charge against Mr. Penny occurs in an atmosphere of extreme polarization and racial polarization. It's symptomatic of our times, the split between red and blue, the split between black and white, and it resonates with some deep-seated realities of American politics. Crew, I want you to join me in this conversation. This is the piece from the New York Times. Very insightful piece, a piece that really shed some light on the backstory of this. Did you know, this was revealed in this New York Times piece, that Mr. Penny had an affiliation as he affiliated or he saw himself politically as a conservative. This was revealed, folks, in this piece within the New York Times article, that he saw himself as a conservative. Will this be brought up in court as we talk about intent? That this young man, 24 years old, may have been influenced by some of the ideology and the philosophy of the conservative movement in this country right now. Can or will that be a part of the conversation? I'm going to hold that question until tomorrow because I got to ask my sister Suzette Speaks, who's the lawyer. How far does that go? How much of an impact does that play? But I wanted to throw it out to us, Culture Crew. I wanted to throw it out to you to get your take on this because I think that plays a role. We are seeing in this country where people are committing horrendous crimes all in the name of some political, some social, some religious, or some racial ideology. It's not just a crime. It's a statement. It's a political, social statement. So we would have to see how far or how much does this play on the case against Mr. Penny, or how much does this play up for the case against Mr. Penny, that he had conservative thoughts, that he had adhered to conservative values and a certain political ideology. We got to talk about that part, but we're going to hold that till tomorrow. But the fact that you can raise $2 million and then try to change the narrative saying that he was a hero and a good Samaritan. We're going to take, I want to share something with you, then crew, I want to get your thoughts on this. C Fresh, I see you. You want to be up next. C Fresh, think about what the Good Samaritan, if we go to the Bible and I see my brother Damon, and others of you who are a part of the church and you're familiar with the book, the Bible talks about the Good Samaritan seeing someone on the side of the road who was wounded. And in that encounter, the Good Samaritan, even though this person was wounded, this person was seen by other individuals, religious folks, and other high value individuals who did not want to do what? Did not want to show care for this wounded man on the side of the road. But the Good Samaritan saw the man in pain and suffering and has decided to make himself uncomfortable by stepping out of his comfort zone to help another human being in need. And what did he do? He took out some oil. He applied the oil to the wounded man. He added the balm. He not only applied the oil, but he helped that man onto his ass and took that man to an inn. and signed that man in and gave him a place where he can find peace and comfort and he can get some rest. Sounds like a good Samaritan to me. But what did Mr. Penny do when he saw a man that was wounded mentally? Did he try to make him feel cared for? Did he show compassion to this man? Or did he go into attack mode and attack this man in such a way that he didn't save his life, but he actually was responsible for taking his life? Good Samaritan? Look, folks, let us not believe the garbage that is coming out of some of these people's mouths. I don't care if they're governors. I don't care if they're heads of state. If that's a lie, that's a lie. And it's sad and sickening that we use such a wonderful example that we can all live up to, an example that we can all become on how to become a good Samaritan, and apply it to such an ugly incident. Let me go to you, crew. Let me take a couple of thoughts, and then we're going to take our next pause. See, Fresh, I told you first, so you checked in and said this: Daniel Penny could not do that too well and fit black men. That's all I know. Marine picking on the weak. Yeah, he couldn't do that to a well and fit black man. That's true. That's true. That's true. Michelle, thank you, C Fresh. Michelle Smith, you said Daniel Penny knew exactly what he was doing. Why he couldn't be satisfied with simply subduing this man is beyond logic. He is not a hero. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Thank you, Michelle. Truth is power. My guy, you said it's amazing that these white supremacists can network money to these people to defend them when they're doing wrong, but why don't the government block that money? That's a whole different level of intervention if the government started doing that. Because if we ask them to block the money of white people, white supremacists who are funding white supremacists, we're stopping them from blocking the money of black people supporting black liberation. That's the other side of that, right? It's easier. They will certainly lay the case, truth is power. You know it. They will lay the case saying, oh, no, you can't support any type of black liberation struggle. Tiana said, good Samaritans don't put folks in chokeholds. No, ma'am. Amen. Amen. And I think that is part of the problem. There's no good Samaritan. They're trying to reshape this conversation as if Daniel Penny was saving, and I forgot who said this, we thank him for saving those who were on the train. Were those on the train truly being threatened by Jordan Neely? Look, I got to take a quick pause. When we come forward, more of your thoughts around this, as we talk about the legal defense fund of Daniel Penny, the killer of Jordan Neely. $2 million has already been raised for the legal work for Mr. Penny, and it opens up the conversation about where we are with this state of being in America and where we are with funding racism. Stay with me. The conversation continues here on The Culture on the Black Star Network.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, Dave.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear. Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. We've been talking about the legal defense fund of Daniel Penny, the man that was responsible for the death of Jordan Neely, and how his legal defense fund went from $0 to $2 million, folks, and still counting. Are we in a space of where racism is being outwardly funded? This is my question. Are we funding racism at this point? Well, we will have to see. The algorithm, you checked in and said the public is trying to sway the jurors. That doesn't mean that he will be acquitted of the charges he faces, as we talk about the narrative being shaped around Daniel Penny as being a hero and a good Samaritan. So the algorithm, to your point, I think that's something interesting that we would need to consider as this whole process unfolds in terms of bringing him in terms of Daniel Penny going through the court proceedings and whatnot. But it's trying to sway the jurors. So here's the thing, folks. What can we prepare for as we look at this situation, right? Because this is an all-out attack. This is not just an attack on Jordan Neely. This is not just an attack on what we believe is right versus wrong. This is not an attack on just an attack on what we have seen in the video. This is an attack on our very intelligence. Our intelligence, our critical thinking skills and ability to see something, to understand something, and to interpret something based on what reality has shown us, and more importantly, based on what it is. This is an all-out attack. You want me to believe that a man who comes on a subway station or any public transit space and he's screaming and yelling that he is a murderer, a terrorist, but more importantly, that his very presence and his mental health condition causes him and justifies him to be killed? You mean to tell me that's acceptable? That's okay? That we start killing everyone that has a mental health problem and displays their mental health condition publicly? Is that what we're doing now? More importantly, that the man who did it, and I'm going to stick by this point, folks. So if y'all tell me, I'm going to stick by it. This man's head, why is he a Marine vet? Or why is he still not in the Marines? Is he in the Marines? Is it not part of the Marines? But more importantly, his political ideology, I think this needs to be brought up. His political ideology. And the sad part about it, folks, the sad part about it is that this is not the first time that we've seen major conservatives come out and speak for people who just outwardly kill our people. As if, and I saw one of our, another comment talking about what Dr. Carr always say, talking about his hunting season for black folks. The same thing was done for Kyle Rittenhouse when he was shooting protesters at the Black Lives Matter movement. The same thing was said about Dylan Roof when he killed 9 of our people down in South Carolina. That there was this like, oh, well, he was fighting for his rights. Standing up. This is serious. This is very serious. Let me go get some more of your thoughts on this, crew. I appreciate y'all so much for checking in. Conscious Thought, you said it. Daniel Penny got his trophy. He got his scalp. Daniel Penny got his black bull kill, as Dr. Carr is always saying. They are hunting us. Lord, have mercy. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Conscious Thought. Pauline, my sister, you checked in and said racism is on full display here. Absolutely. Absolutely. Racism is on full display. Truth is power. You came back to talk about that piece that he should not be able to raise money after an atrocious situation like this. You said the government frees the assets of the Black Panther Party so that they couldn't distribute into communities, but they don't block the money of white supremacists who support murderers. Interesting. Are we really surprised, Truth? Truth. Are you surprised about the double standard that is applied to Black folks versus white people in this country? Are you? Because I'm not. If we're surprised about that, folks, then we got a long way to go to step up to where we are right now. If you're surprised about the double standard, then you can't even get fully into the game, or you can't get onto the battlefield. If you're surprised by the double standard, let's get out of the surprise stage of the double standard. Let's get out of that. Let's stop saying, "Oh my gosh, how can this be?" As if America, unfortunately, hasn't shown us time and time again where she stands on the preservation of Black life in this country. So I'm not surprised about that. That's right. Right. It's not interesting. It's called double standard. It's called being biased. It's called being racist. It's not interesting. It just is what it is. And so now that we know that this happens time and time again, let's get out the surprise stage. Let's get into a better place. Let's start saying, okay, how do we respond? Because they're going to go by the same playbook. This is not race baiting. This is not hate mongering. This is none of that talk. We're looking at simple facts here, folks. We're looking at simple facts. And we can't talk about, oh, this is not quote unquote racial, because it really is. It's racial. And more importantly, what has taken this thing up to the next level is that people are supporting a man who killed another man instead of demonizing him, instead of shunning him or shaming him, instead of saying, you know what, it wasn't right what he did. He acted out of lust for blood versus acting out of compassion as a good Samaritan would. All right, let me see if I can get a couple of more thoughts from you, crew. McCall, my sister, you said Daniel Penny is not a good Samaritan. He murdered Jordan Neely. Jordan Neely was treated inhumanely, with disdain, with callous, and with brutality. Did Daniel offer Jordan any food, water, etc.? No. Come on, there it is right there. There it is right there. McCall, you hit the nail on the head, sis. Did he offer him anything that would help that man to get calm, to be at peace with the situation? No, he didn't. There was no water. He just assumed. Now, this is the other part of the conversation. What happened that has led up to Daniel Penny's arm being wrapped around Jordan Neely's neck? What happened in the moments up to? Did Jordan say something to Daniel Penny? Did Daniel Penny say something to Jordan Neely? What happened? And then, well, not only did it happen, you mean to tell me as a trained Marine, see, Fresh, I saw you making a point saying that this is not how we handle situations. You know that your training can lead to life or death. So you mean to tell me as a trained Marine that you don't have the skill, you don't have the capacity, you don't have the competency to determine, okay, this man is mental health. Instead of me going full blown all in, I'm going to take him down as if he's wielding a gun. I should handle the situation. You mean to tell me they don't teach you how to do that in the Marine Corps? How to think through a situation that could potentially get violent, but they don't teach you that? Hard for me to believe. Or is it because your thoughts, you were already wrapped up into your own madness, emotionally, mentally, you feeding off of some ideology that's gotten you looking at people strangely, as if every Black person that comes across you is a problem, is the problem, is the source of the country's discontent. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's talk about this. All right, let me get a couple of people. C Fresh, you checked back in and said, I don't care what you do, you're not a vet at 24 years old in your career. And C Fresh, that's was something I was thinking to myself. We kept saying vet. I'm like, dude, how did you complete? Didn't you just join the Marines? So did you get kicked out? Was a dishonorable discharge? Like, how are you at vet status at 24 years old? Did you join at 18? And then some unknown questions. What was, and I feel like a lot of this stuff is going to come forward, folks. I feel like a lot of, like they said, the New York Times piece said that he has an affiliation to conservatism. A lot of people didn't think. Now we're starting to see the pieces of this man's life. More importantly, we're starting to see the pieces of his psyche that led him to that very, very unfortunate, horrific, and fatal encounter with Jordan Neely. Look, I got to take a quick pause. We will continue to keep you posted on the situation, as you know we will. And more importantly, we're going to continue to have this conversation. But I will have a conversation tomorrow with my sister Suzette Speaks to ask about how much legally does a person's ideology, their views, their political and social views play on intent. Can that be used as part of the case to state a person's intent? I don't know, but I want to talk to her as an attorney. So we'll have that part of the discussion tomorrow. But stay with us, folks. We're going to switch gears. Let's talk about decision-making. The next conversation is about an NBA superstar, Ja Morant. And will he be able to recover from this poor decision-making of brandishing a gun on video again? Folks, stay with me. We're going to check in with my guy, Scotty from Allscript TV. And, of course, continue the conversation with you. You're tuned into The Culture here on the Black Star Network.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punching! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Hey, Black, I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
Pull up a chair. Take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network. All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Thank you so much for tuning in and being prepared to join us in this conversation. Make sure that you do your due diligence. Go to blackstarnetwork.com. Show your support for us as we do the great work of having these conversations in a very, very important way. And so we want you to support us. Your support means everything. So go to our website today at blackstarnetwork.com. blackstarnetwork.com. Download the app for free on all of your devices. Share the content. Follow us on social media. And, of course, continue to tune in as we are doing the great work of putting out quality programming around the issues facing Black America. All right, folks, we wanted to talk of something else. This is our second big culture convo for today, which is around decision-making coming from NBA superstar Ja Morant of the Grizzlies. Let me just bring my brother in. Y'all can check him out on Off Script TV on all social media platforms. My brother, Scotty. Scotty, you with me today?
What's up, man?
My guy.
Long
I
time.
always, hey, Scotty, you don't know, but I love talking to you, bro. You gonna keep it real.
Hey, man,
and even though the last time, you know what I mean, you pulled up the old tape of me, you chopped it up. At first, I thought it was Keenan, but the Keenan was like, man, I had no idea he was doing that. So I'm gonna say I apologize to Keenan, and I'm gonna get the mad face for Scott.
Man, I was like, man, I said, Farajii ain't hit me on IG. I said, my man still mad at me.
No, I ain't never mad at you, bro. Look. It's only a few black men in the game.
That's fair. That's
fair. Now, if you're Jason Whitlock.
All
right. But look. All seriousness though, bro. What in the hell is Ja Morant thinking? Like, for real. Now, look, I've been looking at this landscape for the past couple of days, man. Steven Jackson called him a moron. I want to play this piece that Keyshawn Jackson or Keyshawn Williams? But I want to play this piece before
Keyshawn Johnson.
Right. Keyshawn Johnson. He made a point that I think is so important. I want to play it, then I want to get your take, and I want us to really understand what are we seeing right now and how does this affect Black athletes in the big scheme of things. Folks, take a look at, and Keenan, if we could pull up Keyshawn Johnson's take off of Twitter. This is a video. They were doing a podcast, and Keyshawn Johnson made this excellent point, I think, that we can use at the beginning of this discussion. Take a look, folks.
In the ghetto. Okay, I grew up around gangs and in gun violence. I've been shot before. My sisters have been shot before. That's not it. It just really isn't. You, and I'm not even talking about the money, but you put yourself in a position, because first of all, you're not from the streets. So let's stop that. Let's just stop it. That's why people that are from the streets are kind of ticked off about his behavior, because they would die to be in his shoes. And then he continue to put himself in this position. You don't do nothing but alienate these individuals and make them mad. When you having fun or whatever you're doing, but you out there looking real silly instead of saying, nah, you know what, that's not what I want to do. I just want to play basketball. He's a basketball player, and he needs to really, and there's people around him, they need to really get him to understand, man, you play basketball. You don't want that life right there, that club, guns, alcohol, that's not it. That's not it. You're gonna squander $200+ million. You're gonna squander that. That's gonna go away like this. Nobody comes back from that. These dudes in these streets that's playing, they playing for keeps. Okay? They play for keeps in these streets. They not out here just listening to rap music and turning their lives into that. They already living that on a daily basis. I've been there. I've been in the streets. I know what it's like. That ain't it, man. It's just not. It's no, I'm good. That's what it is. And then the people around him, they should be ashamed of themselves too, for even agitating it instead of saying, no, man, that's not what we gonna do. We gonna go chill. We gonna be in a safe place. But for whatever reason, he keeps putting himself in this position.
All right, that was Keyshawn Johnson. Let me get my man Scotty. For whatever reason, he keeps putting himself in this position. I find that this is an ongoing dilemma, especially with Black athletes. I can't speak about white athletes, but with Black athletes, it's always this interesting pull, Scotty, between being real or being too Hollywood, quote unquote, right? or, you know, you always got to kind of reconnect. Like if you get a big contract, get a big opportunity, sports opportunity, a big deal, you always got to like, all right, let me just show the world that I'm still on the block.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why. This is the part of our culture, brother, that drives me insane. If we always said that we wanted to get out of the hood, get out of certain elements, be removed from this, then why, when we get an opportunity, a major one, we decide to go back? It's like a dog going back to its vomit.
I think that's kind of harsh. I get what you're saying, though. This is
okay.
It's a. I look at it as nobody wants you to forget about them, right? It's like we're the community that made you. If it was the drug dealers looking out for you, right? That telling them they couldn't touch you. I've had that situation with my cousin, very prominent. We come from a very small town. He was a very prominent basketball player, and we had families that did that life, and they was like, "You good? You don't have to worry about where you go. Everybody knows not to touch you." So you have incidences like that in your community to where your community has looked out for you. So do you owe them anything? Technically, no, but they feel like you should be able to give back. Now, giving back in the way that Ja Morant is giving back, that ain't giving back, but there's ways that you can give back. So I'm
all for giving back.
Yeah, I do understand a community asking for that player who's made it, who got out, to give back, because you can inspire the next person to be like, hey, I came from here.
Right.
I'm here. You don't have to, you don't be a basketball player, but you can you can get out of the situation. So I do understand a community looking for that in that sense. As long as it's not in the I owe you, you owe us type of feel, right? I want to speak to the people real quick, Farajii. The people
Go ahead.
He didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't illegal to have a gun in Tennessee. You are the problem, okay? Because you don't understand working for a private entity. That don't matter. It is about the representation of what you are to that company. So said doctor, lawyer on this channel right now, if you're a prominent head of surgeon and you get on Twitter and say something bad about Jewish people or something bad about another race or culture or something about the alphabet gang, right? And it gets back to your employer, you're fired. Do you have the freedom of speech? You absolutely do. But that does not negate the fact you work for a private entity. If you don't, you are in control by somebody. If you're not the CEO, if you can be fired, you don't own it. Right? So it's the same thing that goes with Ja Morant. Yes, he can carry a lawful weapon in Tennessee. Yes, he can have the gun on his lap and show it, whatever. He can do it on IG, but it's not the representation of the Grizzlies that they want to see that. And when white people start losing money, Bama start losing. That ain't hard to come about. When white people start losing money, somebody gonna lose their job. And it ain't the person that owns the team. Okay? So that is that. Now, let's talk about T. Morant. Because somewhere in this equation, that man's father has to be in full effect. Now, some people like, hey, Scotty, he's a grown man. The dynamic is probably shift because he's breadwinner now and things like that. Listen, I tell my friends all the time, if you date a chick that makes more money than you, that don't take the fact that you a man away. I don't care how much money he earns. He will never be that man's father. He is T. Morant. Oh, you came out that man's scrotum. You will always be my son, okay? Stop playing with me. So there is a fine line between that, and I think there has to be, I would say 90%. I say 80% is on Ja, 10% is on his friends, 10% is on his father, right? 80% is still him having to deal with the decisions that he makes because he is a grown-ass man. It is what it is. But I think T. Morant has to play some blame. I think the friends around him have to play some blame on this. But at the end of the day, Ja Morant cannot keep doing what he's doing.
First and foremost, I got to take a break because your commentary, I want people just to marinate on this, folks. especially the part about coming out of the man's scrotum.
I mean, bro, think about that. People were like, "Oh yeah, he makes more money."
It doesn't. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely. The money making thing has no bearing on a parent-child relationship. It has no bearing on it. Like, I expect my son and daughter to make more money than me, right? Like, if they aren't making more money than me, then I did something wrong. So I expect that to happen. But I agree with your whole analysis, bro. It's so much. It's so complex. But we do have to stop. I think there's this. He's a 23-year-old black man, and you mean to tell me he doesn't know the difference between right and wrong? And you damn sure don't know. You damn sure you're going to tell me that he don't know that in this very hypersensitive space that we find NBA and NFL, particularly. It's just been 2 months since the last incident. Bro, what are you thinking?
No, it did, bro. It's like, bro, like
I guess
it's like getting caught cheating again. Like, you cheating again? Like, you know what I'm saying? You didn't learn the first.
Look, you put out a statement saying that you took a photo. Look, I gotta take a quick pause. It doesn't make no sense. This doesn't make any sense. And look, and the more I listen to you, Scotty, I'm about to take the Steven Jackson approach. Hey man, this is on you, bro. This is what that man said. This is on you.
Yeah.
Like we had your back the first time. You know, fool me once. What's that whole saying?
One, shame on you. Fool me twice. We can't get fooled again. Gotta give him the George Bush. Fool me twice. We can't get fooled again.
You can't get fool me again, man. I don't know what you're trying to do, folks. We gotta take a quick pause. When we come forward, more with our guy Scotty from Offscript TV, and of course, I want to hear from you, crew. What's your take on this? Can Ja recover from his poor decisions? Can he recover? He's been suspended for 8 games from the Grizzlies, but it looks like he has bigger fish that he's going to have to deal with beyond his suspension. So stay with us. We'll continue the conversation on the other side here on The Culture on the Black Star Network.
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show, Get Wealthy, focuses on the things that your financial advisor and bank isn't telling you, but you absolutely need to know. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to the show, talking and checking in with my brother Scotty from Offscript TV as we talk about Ja Morant, the NBA superstar who was found brandishing a gun on video on IG Live again. And now how this has once again placed him back in hot water and been at the center of controversy. Those are just the stills we got right here, folks. But you can see he's holding a gun.
And he was driving. I didn't even know he was driving. Oh, my God. I didn't even see the steering wheel in the Joker.
Bro, I thought he was passenger.
I thought he was the passenger, too. I just realized it's the steering wheel right there. Crazy.
Scotty, something got to be done.
Is that red flag?
Red flag, bro. Red flag, bro. No, I'm serious. And this. I mean, look, folks, I don't want y'all to understand the attitude that I have. And I can't speak for my brother Scotty here, but we're not laughing at this dude. But it is like, What are you doing? I mean, the man's contract, how much is that man's contract? It's got to be over 200 million?
200 mil.
And so he just signed this contract, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, he missed out on the Supermax because he didn't make an all NBA team because of the suspension and everything like that. I think they would have added like another 40 or 50 million to it.
But he's still coming, walking away with, he still signed a $200 million contract.
Yeah, he still signed a $200 million contract.
So it don't have nothing to do with money.
Nah, I mean, listen, you know, everybody knows NBA contracts are guaranteed, but they do have moral clauses. And, you know, conduct detrimental. Listen, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. It's either one of two things. You either got to hit rock bottom. He going to have to hit. Like my fiance's mom, she says, you don't think fat meat is greasy. You know what I'm saying? That's a black mama saying. Everybody got their own black mama saying. Like, Ja Morant is in that boat right now. Like, you got to hit your head to really understand what position you're in, because the thing about it is, just like Keyshawn Johnson said, everybody wants to be you, and you want to be the little people.
I thought, hey, Scotty, you and me starting to think alike, and that's a problem. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, brother. That's exactly what I thought when Keyshawn Johnson said that. That as much as you broke it down, the community protects its prized asset, right? Especially if you come out of a small town. But even if you come out of some of these major cities, whatever neighborhood you come out, you protect that prized asset. But at the end of the day, at the root of it all, folks want to be in your position.
Absolutely.
If they had the chance, if the drug dealer, the pimp, the hustler, the prostitute, whoever that is in the community suffering, if they were given the opportunity to live a better life, what do you think they're going to do? Nobody's going to say, nah, man, keep me in a decrepit, wretched state of mind. No, I love it here. No, if they had the opportunity, they would jump into it with both feet and all arms into it.
Absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, that's anybody's shoe. I'm not even in the decrepit situation. I'll switch with him tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, gun charge and all. I'll be like, I'll get right. You know what I'm saying? I get right.
But I don't understand it, brother. So let's go to what some of the crew members are saying, because folks are just checking in. Official Savika, you said Ja is guilty of stupidity. He knows what kind of contract he signed. The NBA has a code of conduct. Plus, whatever he signed from the last time, he stupidly got caught on camera with a gun. Is it his friends? Because I've been seeing all this conversation that he needs to change his friends. I think Roland even mentioned that when he tweeted out his disdain for the whole situation. Is it his friends?
You know what? I think at some point, a little bit yes, a little bit no. Because if we be honest, the friend tried to dump the phone as soon as the situation. I don't know if you saw the whole video, the whole clip.
I did.
He watching it, and as soon as the friend see the gun, he like, yo, like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? So he was actually trying to look out for his man, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, somebody in your chat said, why does everything have to be on social media? Like, Jesus Christ, man. Sometimes just keep some stuff to yourself. And I think that's the issue, because Shannon Sharp said it. He said, bro, you don't have to be on IG stunting, I'm with Ja Morant. You with Ja Morant. That's your man's. Why you gotta prove to 100 people that that's your man's? That's like me and you. We hanging. We go out to eat, Farajii. I'm in LA. Yo, look, I'm with Farajii. I didn't see us all the time together. Like, oh man, that's just my guy. Why I gotta put it on social media that I'm eating dinner with? He got asparagus. I don't understand these kids, bro. It don't make sense.
It just sounds like it's a maturity issue. It's a maturity issue.
It's just that's their culture. You know what I'm saying? Everything is everything's for the gram. Everything's for this and that, instead of just enjoying the moment. You know what I'm saying? So it's sad. But the question, can Ja Morant recover for his poor decisions? You only can recover if you feel remorse. Like, if you really start seeing the error of your ways is the only way this thing, because as bad as it can get, it's just as quickly as it can turn around. But if you don't, no, for real, because he gets, let's say if I was the commissioner, I'm suspending you for half the season. Man, I ain't even hold you. I'm suspending you for half.
You would have wait, whoa, hold on. Now we got two things we got to talk about here. You say you would suspend him for half the season?
Absolutely, I would suspend him for half of the upcoming season. I'm not even playing with you. Not playing no game.
Wow.
If Gilbert Arenas got 50 games when he had the gun inside the locker room, and this is your second offense of learning, you know what I'm saying? The first one, the Grizzlies kind of slapped you on the wrist. Oh no, now I got to make an example out of you because now I got to stop other players for thinking that's okay as well, right? So I got to make you an example. So I'm gonna make an example out of you. I'm suspending you for 41 games? 41 games suspended. Off rip.
Look, our guy Damon Blissett, he said, I don't see him playing until 2024.
If they did that, I wouldn't have a problem with it either. Because Farajii, like I'm saying, this man has to hit bottom. And when you hit bottom, it's either one or two things you're going to do. You're going to get up, dust yourself off, and say, you know what, I got to be better. Or you're going to stay there, and everybody going to know that's where you want it to be anyway. So
I agree.
This kid.
So look, here's the other thing. And the thing that gets me, bro, is that our culture as Black folks, right? We have created this culture. We've created this street culture, right? That is so prominent. It doesn't matter how far up you are blessed to go, how many people, how many spaces and rooms you are in. This street thing has such a magnetism for so many Black men and so many Black women. And I'm trying to figure out, is there a way that we can break through that wall? Is there a way that we can disrupt that part of the culture?
That's tough. That's
I know. And look, I know. Hey, I know. I'm from Baltimore, so the street culture is everything. The street credibility is everything. But I'm wondering, and I know that so many of us, we struggle with that, especially those of us who are in spaces of media, spaces of arts and entertainment, spaces of business. Like the higher up we go, it's always we always feel compelled to remind people, like, look, man, don't let the suit and tie fool you.
I can still get down with you. Yeah. I'm never too far removed. And
I'm never too far removed. And I'm not saying that we should be far removed, because there's a way to recognize where you come from without allowing that to just totally disrupt any type of future activities or any type of future things that you got planned. There's a healthier way to do it. And I'm wondering, why aren't we having enough conversations about the healthier way? Like, is it because that we just love, and I'm just saying because of the condition that we find ourselves in as Black folks, that we have been made to love the worst instead of being open our eyes to something a better and a different alternative?
I think when it's tough to get out of a street culture when sometimes it raised you. Sometimes it is the morals and values that have dictated your path to wherever you might lead. Like, so you could be a smart, you learn your street smarts, common sense, all that type of stuff. I think it's hard to just say how to break away from street culture, because I think the streets never, if you're from the streets and if you've lived that life, I don't think that's something you can ever just, to me, it's kind of like PTSD, but people don't recognize it as the same, right? So like when people go out, I'm a former military member, when people go on deployment and come back, there are certain things that they just cannot unsee. There are certain things that as an experience, you can just not unexperience, you know what I'm saying? And I think the streets are the same way. They are PTSD. So I think there's a lot of ways to move through it healthy, but you have to be able to accept that. And two, you have to see that you're flawed. You have to see that you're flawed. And I think that's more to Black people and mental health and how we move that direction than just completely, cutting off the street culture. Because to me, listen, I tell anybody who leaves out that life or get out of that life, I'm like, listen, you can do 10 times more for somebody in a better situation than you ever can be in the same situation.
Right. Facts.
Because let's be honest, and let's keep it a buck. Black people only respect status, right? People respect the shiny object. And I'm gonna give you a good example. When you start your first business and you like, hey, I really like you support. Oh, okay. You come back, you in a Benz, you come back, you in a Range, you come back in something real nice. Oh, you still doing that business thing?
That's right.
Oh, okay, that's nice. It's going real well. Oh, now you want to listen. Now you want to listen to my financial advice. Now you want to listen to investment and reading and mental preparation and all that type of stuff. Now you want, when I was telling you when I was on my way up, you didn't want to hear me. Now I'm at the top. Now you want to. Now you all. It's just the culture, and you have to understand. That's why I say, Ja Morant is going to. He could be 10 times more helpful being a great basketball player and going back to the community than he could ever be trying to hug.
Right. I love that, bro. I absolutely love it. Laurie Parks checked in and said exactly 100 fact point, talking about the point you just made. That's very true. Now, if with this 200 million, because you said it has this moral clause, does that mean that it's endangered of being changed? Would he still, because this is his second offense, he's a superstar. He's one of the young up and coming, the fresh faces for the league. And I didn't know this one. He met with the commissioner face to face.
Listen.
So can they take that off the table? Can they be
yeah. Listen.
I'm about to say. I knew that in the back of my head, Scotty, but I just wanted us to say it out loud, because sometimes some of us may think, oh, it's guaranteed that the money is his.
No, absolutely not. There's always a moral clause contract that they can void. It's called voiding that contract, so it no longer makes it guaranteed. Now, my thing is this, right? Once again, when people from the Caucasus Mountains lose money, right? They gonna get that money back some way, somehow. So he gonna have to start coming off some ducats. Okay, listen. It was real nice, all that funny. Oh, Memphis, this, all that. Okay, I need some of that money back. Okay, I'm gonna you made us lose some sponsors. I'm gonna need some money back. So I wouldn't be surprised if they suspend him, because remember, a suspension is a negative action. So if they suspend him, that could void the contract possibly. But more times not, it's the moral clause that violates the contract, and you got to give that money up.
We're going to take a quick pause. When we come forward, let's talk about real quick, Scotty, how this is going to impact the next generation coming up behind Ja. You know what I'm saying? What does that mean? What do we need to prepare these younger athletes, younger basketball players and football players? I want to stay in those two spaces as we have that part of the conversation. Folks, stay with us. More with my man Scotty from Off Script TV, more with you, our culture crew, and a whole lot more coming up at you here on The Culture on the Black Star Network.
Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
It's an angry angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol. We've seen
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. We've been talking about the trials and tribulations of Morant as he has been suspended again for brandishing a weapon on social media. And I'm asking the question, can he recover? Can he recover from his poor decisions? I've been checking in with my brother Scotty from Offscript TV. Scotty said, yep, he can still bounce back from this. He can still bounce back from this. My question is, okay, if he can bounce back, that's all well and good, but what is the message that needs to be sent to ensure that the next generation of basketball players, and I don't even throw in there football players, young black football players, young black basketball players, that they don't get it in their head that this is acceptable behavior. And that, Scotty, I want to bring you back into the frame. That's the concern, because and I agree with you, the commissioner, the league is going to have to go hard on Ja in order to make it known, saying, look, we don't play that around here, that you are a representative of this league, of this private entity. I don't care what laws, what state you in. I don't even care what hood you from. Your ass belong to us. If we kick it out $200 million, dog, you better do what we say we want you to do. Now look, hey look. Y'all ain't kidding, yo.
Oh man!
But look, and look. This is the crazy part is this is the position that we all, like a lot of us, want to be in. We like, look, man, pay me millions of dollars. Pay me millions of dollars and I'll shut my mouth up and I'll be on the straight and narrow, right? But what do you say to the next generation of athletes who are looking at this? Ja Morant is 23, so he's right there, Scotty. I mean, he's right there. These young boys are looking at him. They're not looking at old man LeBron James.
Goat James.
He is the GOAT. But they're not looking at him. They're looking at Ja.
And the crazy thing is he should be the role model. At 19, came into the league, has never had a major incident, put his boys on. He's the definition of
his record is a Scotty. I think about that all the time, bro. I tell you getting in my head today, and I don't like it, and this is weird. But no, I think about it all the time. I'm like, yo, LeBron James has been in the league for 20 years, and he really hasn't had any major dust up. Like whoever is around, he must be so disciplined. I mean, at this point, he's married. Of course, he got his wife, his family, his sons and stuff. We already know that. So he's so invested. I mean, what did he do different that we're not seeing some other folks do?
And the thing about it is everybody knows he was from Akron. Like, he from the gutter. He said it from, me, my mom, me living with my basketball coaches sometime, my mom's, struggling to put food on the table. Like, he is everything personified. And let me make this delineation, right? you can be from the street and not be street. Like I want to make, because people will be like, oh, he's not. You can be in the environment and know how the environment moves, understand the dynamics, the politics in the environment, but not be in. You're not in the day-to-day operations of the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you just know, the politics. You know how. Okay, can't go on that side of the street. I'm gonna talk to them. I'm cool with them. Can't wear this color. You know all the makings of your neighborhood. Because you're from the hood don't mean you're from the block or you put in the work to be a part of that. It's two different things. So you can say, yeah, I'm from the hood because you are. You know the politics, but that's neither here nor there. But my thing is this. I think this, and the funny thing, Farajii, I think the same way you felt about Lamar and his contract is how you should feel about Ja Morant in this contract. And that's what I mean by that.
Okay.
People are like $200 million. That's, in my money, that's monopoly money. Why? It's because you're getting that for shooting a basketball.
Right.
You're getting that for shooting a basketball. So if I take $90 million of that, my guy, you're making $110 million. I don't give a damn if you felt you earned it or not. Like, you're shooting a basketball, my boy. You're not changing world health or peace or nothing. Like, you're not a teacher. You ain't, like, what are you doing? Like, no, I'll take all that junk. I'll leave you with $2 million for that fact. You're shooting a basketball. Like, give me all of that. So I don't feel sorry for anybody dumb enough to jeopardize that type of money. I don't feel sorry for you because
hey, look, Scotty. See, I'm rubbing off on you. You rubbing off on me. No, I'm in full agreement.
Yeah,
I'm in full agreement. Chris, you said Farajii, you starting to sound. Do you realize how much what you just said sounds like slavery? That's what's crazy here talking about. $200 million is enough for you to start dancing for them people. It's not the fact that you start dancing. Come on, man. Come on. Stop acting. Look, Chris.
I'll be out there, boy. I'll be out there.
Let's stop acting like $200 million isn't life changing. Like people don't get that money in lifetimes.
Facts.
And just to your point, Scotty, you're bouncing a ball. Like I get it. No, this is not to diminish. Athletes should be paid. But $200 million to bounce a ball for what? 4 months of the year?
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Like, stop playing. And all you got to do. I mean, Scotty, you know what I'm about to say. All you got to do is play basketball, bro. Like, look, you could do social justice stuff and they gonna kick you out the league. They won't destroy your contract. That's how lenient the NBA is.
Yeah.
All you got to do is keep your look, man, I'll be in a house every day, bro. I'm just letting you know. Because I'm thinking about the bigger picture.
I would do the little, like, I know you see the things on Amazon where you can lock somebody's phone for like a certain amount of time. Like, all the parties are coming to my crib. Everybody getting a little sleeve. We locking phones up and we go to town.
I mean, look, man, it's game changing. Look, I'll sacrifice that time if my son and daughter can live off of that. That's $200 million, and they telling you it's guaranteed. Come on, man, that's not small money. That is not small money, man. That means that you talking about generational wealth. That's like, come on, man.
Yeah,
that's not small money, and all you're doing is bouncing the ball, man. Come on, and see, you get mad at I get mad sometimes because it's like, bro, so many of us, and it's not about the money. It's just about that level of security.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, never.
As you get older, you realize like it's not about the money. It's what you can do with the money.
That's good. That's good.
You know what I'm saying? That level of security that I don't have to wake up and think about, oh man, trying to make ends meet and bop, bop, bop and all this other stuff. Like, that's what it's about. All you're doing is bouncing the ball, bro. And you tell your friends, you create new friends. Be around and see, and here's the thing, Scotty, I don't understand, like in industries like sports, even in entertainment, but in sports, you got all these people who have gone down that same path and have been highly successful in being able to balance that life with their personal life and not allowing all of these other influences. When I listen to Uncle Shannon, when I listen to LeBron, when I listen to anybody that has done this, I'm always wondering, like, why don't these young athletes reach out to them and be like, hey, yo, I just got when I just got wind of all this money.
Yeah. What should I do first?
What should I do first? I would be calling everybody. Who is not going to take your call?
That's good. Because everybody wants to see black men succeed naturally. I mean, the whole league is black. You know what I'm saying? So they just want to see everybody succeed. And it's like you said, it's no, like on the court is one thing, but outside the court is a completely different, avenue of just like different successes. So, if it's investments, if it's where I put my money, where I'm invested in, where my real estate, listen, man, I would call LeBron so fast, it will make it. He'll be like, damn, Scotty again. Because I'd be like, hey, man.
I'll be calling LeBron. I'll call Steph. I'll be calling everybody. I'll be calling Jordan crazy ass.
Oh, I'll be like, he'd be like, man, like, how you like, man? Hey, listen, bro, I'm trying to get this money right.
Right. Like, hey, bro, who's your banker? I'm trying to bank at the same place.
Yeah. Who does your Maverick Carter doing my stuff too? You know what I'm saying? Everybody know. But before we gotta take a break, I know you gotta go to break, and you're probably gonna let me go. But my thing is this. It's really funny to me when people say, oh, you just gonna chuck and jive for $200 million? You chuck and jive for $30 an hour. Stop playing with me. And you Bammers in the comments, you know I ain't lying. Oh, my boss said I gotta go in extra. I gotta stay in late. You do all that for your $30 to $35. If you make six figures, you be chucking and jiving. Oh, yeah, I make $175, but I work 60 hours a week. Like, stop playing with me. Like, that's the thing that kills me. They think they push off this mantra, or they push off this arrogance, like, oh, you would do that for $10 million? You do it for $75,000. I wish you would go to your boss tomorrow and say, you know what? I don't feel like I'm taking my daughter to Disney World. He's gonna be like, all right, don't come back. And you can be like, oh, no, all right. Stop playing. Stop it, man. It kills me when people do that. They don't ever associate their life with the situation.
Look.
It gets me so mad, man. It gets me so mad.
Oh, man. Look. Let's act like, and unfortunately, we do have to think about money because we're part of a system that's what it is. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. And I like financial security. I want to be secure. I want my family to be secure. And there's nothing wrong with that. So if you're involved in any industry, and people in our industry, bro, make $25-30 million a year just doing the same thing we do.
If they need to talk, listen, if I was making $20 million and they say, hey, Scotty, we need you in Wyoming, here I come. Like, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I own this, okay? I own Off Script. This is all me. But if somebody called me up and said, Scotty, we'll give you $5 million to do a live show in the middle of Montana, give me a hat. Like, give me a hoodie. I'm out there, okay? Chucking and jiving for whoever about to pay me $5 million. Stop playing.
Oh, man.
Y'all kill me with that. Stop playing. And anybody in these comments know they would. Like, some people, I do agree. Some people would just be like, nah, that just ain't me. You know what I'm saying? I respect that. I'm not saying, but 90% of you Bammers, y'all gonna be just like me.
But it's not you, though. I mean, look, and again, this is not like the league, and as we close out, this is not like the league is asking him to do something outside of his job description.
They're simply just saying, yo.
They just say, just play basketball, keep your nose clean, and help us win.
Yeah.
Even how many athletes who have just as much as the talent and all of those things that Ja Morant had, how many athletes they dedicate themselves and they don't even get their teams to the championship? They don't even do all that. They don't get the big contract. But they put in the work.
Farajii, thank you, guys. This just hit me in my spirit.
Go ahead, bro.
You worth $200 million? Buy your ass security guards. If you feel you need a gun, you got $200 million. Buy your ass security. Like, I don't understand it. Let them carry the guns for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like little stuff like that is like, You are causing a problem when there does not need to be one. And they're simply telling you, like you said, dude, just keep your nose clean. Stop putting guns on Instagram.
It's a real simple request.
Real simple. Real simple.
It's a simple request, man.
And anybody in the chat who like, oh, you know, if your job right now told you, hey, we'll pay you $1 million a month if you don't post anything on social media again, you would be like, okay, stop playing with me. Stop it. I wouldn't even do $1 million, $100,000 a month. And they say, hey, man, listen, you can't post your kids on social media. F them kids. F them kids. Come on, am I lying? Farajii, am I lying? bro, am I lying?
No.
Okay, then.
No, you're not lying.
F them kids. I ain't like them anyway. I'm sorry. I gotta go on break.
I gotta go.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh boy. What kids? I don't have any children.
I got 3 babies running.
100,000 a month. What children? Never heard of them.
Never. Come on,
nothing
man.
coming out of this scrotum. All right, my man Scotty from Austrian TV. Scotty, how can people check out your show, bro?
Oh, YouTube. Y'all can catch me on YouTube. Thank you, Keaton. Catch me on YouTube, Off-Script TV, man. Listen, bring it. This is me. This is me, man. Just me.
I love it. My guy Scotty, man, one of the best sports contributors and analysts in the game. I'm telling y'all, he's the voice of the game of sports, man. I'm telling you, he's the future. That's my guy, Scotty. Thank you so much for being on the show. Look at you.
I can't stand this guy.
Oh boy. All right. I gotta take a quick pause when we get back. Some final thoughts. Stay with me. It's the culture of the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks. I'm just looking at some of the comments, and some of y'all are really upset. Y'all really upset saying that, oh, man, I wouldn't shuck and jive. Look, he's not shucking and jiving, folks, because the NBA asked him to not do certain things that he should respect their moral clause. It's not shucking and jiving. Just ask you to do your job. Focus on your job. Don't do all the other stuff. But I think that maybe we should have a bigger conversation. Can't do it today, obviously, but should have a bigger conversation. How much would you give? How much would you sacrifice for dollars? And many people, y'all know my stance on terms of money. The money thing is never a big thing, you know what I mean? But I do understand that if I'm able to put my family in a better position because of something, an opportunity that was bestowed upon me, I'm not going to squander that because of some ego or because I need to feel. No, I'm not going to squander that. We'll make sure my family is good. And then in turn, all you got to do is give back to your community. Do something with that 200. If you're blessed to get a mass sum of money, Jai, if you listen to it, if you ever come across this, brother, if you are blessed to have this opportunity, turn this opportunity into something good. Go out. If you want to stay connected to the community you came from, do something for that community. Do a food giveaway. Do a clothes drive. Do something. Start to invest in a playground. Something to show the community that you are serious. It's not just being a part of community and coming from a certain place is not just a name, it's not just in words, but it's in spirit as well. It's in the spirit in which you do some things. So that money can be used for great things. So if there's an opportunity that we can get money, we don't have to shuck and jive for it. If somebody tells you to do something that is completely against what you believe and how you see yourself, that's one thing. But if they pay you money just for you to simply do your job, that's not shucking and jiving. If they pay you money expecting you to act a certain way because you are a representative of that entity, that's not shucking and jiving. That's just being responsible and smart. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. Look, tomorrow I'm going to be checking in with my sister Suzette Speaks. That's host and attorney. Y'all know how me and Suzette go on Wednesday, so make sure y'all tune in for that. We got some great content that's streaming right now on Black Star Network. Do your due diligence and show your support. Let's show it, blackstarnetwork.com. This is the place where you can go. We want you to give financially. We want you to make sure you continue to help us in this movement as we continue to build this digital space, this digital platform. Your support means everything to us. So go to Black Star Network today, download the app for free, share the content, follow us on social media, and continue to support Black-owned media. Also, while you're on social, make sure you follow me. You can find me at The Real Farajii on Instagram and on Twitter at Farajii. I would love to connect with you as you build the community. And I want just to give a big shout out to all of the New Culture crew members, folks that are checking in, folks that have been joining these conversations that we've been having. Look, we're going to get deeper and deeper and try to stay more and more on top of the many different relevant discussions that are necessary for our community. So your support is everything, everything, everything. So thank you again for your support. All right, folks, stay tuned. Up next is RMU, Roland Martin Unfiltered, at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Big shout out to my team, my man King Keenan, making the show so great as it is, by my producer Joel and my control room. And of course, Culture Crew, I appreciate you and thank you for tuning in. As always, never be afraid to challenge what's wrong. Stand for what's right while being yourself in the process. God willing, we will talk tomorrow for another crazy, exciting, interesting, informative, entertaining edition of The Culture right here, exclusively here on the Black Star Network. Have a great afternoon and evening. Talk to you soon. Peace.